Okay, a very good afternoon again. It's 3 minutes past the hour, so we are ready to go. Thank you all for your patience who got in the room early today. I just wanted to make sure we got as many people in the room as possible before we got started. So I hope you all had a great Easter weekend. Ready for the week ahead. So as you guys know, we've been on these webinars before. We're running these daily. So today we are looking at the power of auctions in assisting essential sales in lockdown for estate agents. Okay, so we'll fire away. We've got the very latest news updates, which I picked up from auctioneers up until today's date. This has been over the last week. A huge thank you to one of our auction partners at Brief Your Market, SDL Auctions. They're having a look at the current auction picture. We are then looking how estate agents can examine their current sales pipeline and then how also live auction chat can help you during lockdown too. There's advice and a case study yet again from one of our auction partners, SDL Auctions, and our new partners, Yondell. Okay, so some of you may well have worked this out before, but if you do want to ask any questions, there is a question pane on the top right-hand side of your screen there, which is powered by GoToWebinar. If you have any questions, post them throughout the webinar. There is a 10-15-minute section at the end, and I will answer any questions you have at the end. Okay, so this is where I go full newsreader on you. There's only a couple of stories, but again, they're very positive stories, by the way, which I picked up over the last week. The first of which is actually picked up from our friends at STL Auctions. I'll just leave that on the screen there for you guys to digest. So again, a great story there, and obviously how auction providers are making changes and looking at technology at the moment so you can continue in business. Andrew is on the webinar today. So again, I mean, that's absolutely fantastic there, Andrew. 500 eager viewers online and 120 pre-registered remote bidders. That's just for their Derby auction, which was their 100th. I'm sure you will have a 104th, 105th anniversary celebration once the lockdown's been lifted. This is a story which I picked up from Clive Empson, auctioneers. Again, I will just leave that on the screen there for you guys. Okay, again, another great story there. Hello to Simon, who's on from Clive Empson this afternoon as well. Again, absolutely fantastic story here. Again, the online element of the campaign generated more than £4 million in sales, and there was a sales percentage there of 70%. So it does just show that that investors and people buying at auction is absolutely still alive in the lockdown. For you guys that were on the webinar last Thursday, you may well have seen this. This was some research done by Knight Frank, probably before they furloughed all their staff, by the way, and also Oxford Economics. So I'll just leave this on the screen now and go on mute so you can digest that information. I do particularly like a slight. It's a nice positive actually. The market is likely to explode into life once restrictions are lifted. We all obviously certainly hope that. But again, I've been speaking with a lot of agents over the last 2 or 3 weeks up and down the country who have agreed really that this isn't like the old credit crunch in 2007, 2008, that we do believe that the market will return in earnest, obviously, for the rest of 2020. But again, obviously, going into 2021. Again, with the need for people to move, we're quite sure, and a lot of the commentators around the industry are saying as such as well, which is positive news for us in the industry. This was the second part of the article. Okay. Again, for you guys that have been in the webinars before, I'm certainly doing some commentation on the lending market tomorrow. Again, with mortgage rates being as low as they've ever been. Again, with some of the buy-to-let products which had been suspended have been bought back into the market already. So again, there's good signs already. Okay, so we're on to the part where very kindly SDL Auctions, one of many auction partners Brief Your Market works with, and very, very kindly put together these slides. A huge thank you to the aforementioned Andrew Parker, Louise Jeffries, and Chris Watson for putting together these slides. It's genuinely really appreciated. And again, this is to share with the wider estate agency community in the UK. Again, SDL do have put this together for us, our other auction providers, of course, that we do work with. And you guys, if you're currently working with these, again, please do take this advice and spread the love, so to speak. Right, okay, so we're going to have a look at the power of the auction proposal in assisting essential sales on lockdown. Okay, so first headline here, which I'm sure will grab the attention of most of the estate agents on the line this afternoon. Cash in 7 days. Now, I was talking with an agent last week who'd written off any income for nearly 4 or 5 months. So that's interesting, first of all. Never more so has auction been a potential lifeline to estate agencies. Okay. It can not only sell properties quickly, it can generate almost immediate income for your estate agent, and you don't have to wait for the completion to take place before you get paid. This is absolutely critical in lockdown. Sellers who are needing a fast and secure solution have few other options given how slow conveyancing has become. Now, again, for you guys that were on the webinar last week, there are still conveyancers who are insisting on wet signatures, even though it is now legal to exchange contracts without a wet signature in the UK, or certainly England and Wales. Slow conveyancing, I think, has been very kind. A lot of conveyancers that I've spoken with and agents I've spoken with dealing with conveyancers, some of them have stopped completely. So what this does do, this auction process, it supports all cross sales such as FS, conveyancing referrals, and sales marketing packs too. But again, I will look to the top left-hand corner of this slide, and this is certainly when I spoke with the guys at SDL Auctions last week. This is what got my attention: cash in 7 days. Okay, so this is not a good idea for my laptop to freeze at this point. Okay, there we go. Right, I'm just going to leave those case studies on the screen there for you to digest and have a quick look at. Now, what I'd like to do is look at here is that typically SDL say they can sell around 5 to 15% of estate agent stock. So this isn't for everything you have on your books. Their honest success rate is 80%. But I'd like you to have a look at the top line there. And this was actually a real conversation which was had by one of the members of the SDL team last week to an agent who had 63 properties on their books. Only 5 were suitable for auction, with probably around 3 expected to sell. Now, again, if it was that agent I was talking about who was expecting no income for 4 to 5 months, an income times 3 of whatever that might well be, and again, we'll come on to the fees, is probably quite welcome at this point, so probably worth considering. Okay, so again, if you guys have ever looked at the SDL proposition before, or again with any of the providers, they set up their own auction department. It's fantastic, so it's very light touch as well for you guys. And again, you've probably furloughed staff. You have white labelled microsites, brochures, window cards. Probably the window cards will be a line through for now. Again, people shouldn't be out looking at the estate agent windows. But again, there's social media graphics, and again, that's within 2 weeks of the sign up. Now, I asked the question, the guys in lockdown, how fast can they move? 48 hours with a legal pack, which I thought was very, very impressive. Okay, I'm just going to have a quick look at what a conditional versus an unconditional auction sale is and why this is important during lockdown. So I'm just going to keep that on the screen there so you guys can have a quick look at that. Again, as you guys know, that comes to these webinars on a daily basis. I am here to educate and give advice. It's not, and again, it's not to say that a conditional auction does not work in lockdown, but again, as obviously for the reasons that I've just gone through, the unconditional sale, for the reasons we've gone through before, is something which SDL strongly recommend. For the reasons we've gone through, I have to agree on a personal level on that as well. Okay, so these are the 3 first lockdown auctions in March, which SDL held. So again, we've got some stats on the screen there. You guys have a quick look at. Now, again, something which caught my eye here, and I was speaking to an agent in Warwickshire last week about this, who had furloughed all of his sales staff. SCL took 3,500 calls. Sorry, it made and received 3,500 calls last week. That is quite an incredible amount. What I'm going to talk about with regard to live chat, we'll play on that a little bit there. But again, I think that's quite an interesting point there. Again, I think that's fantastic. Top middle, 3 auctions with 3 cameras and 1 auctioneer being Andrew Parker. So again, some fantastic stuff and up-to-date lockdown trends that SDL are seeing. Okay, now I've worked with agents many, many years, and there's certainly a round of myths when it comes to auction. Some agents call it the nasty A word. So again, I'm just going to leave that on the screen there for you guys to have a quick look at, and hopefully that will answer any questions you guys might have about this. So I'm just going to have a look at the first one on the left there, only for desperate sellers. Again, they're always going to be, let's say Auntie Mabel's died and it's quite, there's maybe a couple of brothers and sisters that are involved. They just want to get the house sold, split the money and go their own ways. But again, for desperate sellers, and again, these just might be people, if I'm honest with you, who, let's say maybe David accepted a job in Newcastle upon Tyne, for example, and he would like to move up there and he will need to go by September. So again, it might be the fact that he's desperate, but again, it might become an essential sale. And over time, when we know how long a lockdown is going to be, some of these desperate sellers will come more to the fore. And again, I'll talk about how you can probably try and line some of these up within your same pipeline. Again, obviously, if the two differences between unconditional and conditional sale, if you were to go down the unconditional route, again, you can do with this auction provider STL. But again, obviously, there's a slightly longer path that the seller goes on there, of course, as well as the agent. But again, those are both still available. Okay, question on legal packs. And again, this was a myth of mine, which I had certainly from last week. I'm still until I spoke to Louise at STL Auctions. So again, I'll just leave that on the screen there, which I'm sure will bust a few of your myths as well. Again, I think the key point there is absolutely the second one. Legal packs can still be produced remotely without the need for a face-to-face visit to the property. So again, that for me is a total game changer. I wasn't aware of that until last week. And again, this is why we're presenting this today. Okay, so again, there's quite a lot of text on there, so I'm just going to go on mute so you guys can digest all of that there. Just so you guys are aware, if you are making notes there, I will be sending the slides out after the webinar, so you will have this to hand. Now, I just want to have a look at the fourth one on there, on that list there, which is sales fallen through. We're going to have a quick look at what we're seeing at Brief Your Market with our on-market data and what's happening in the property industry in the last week on that as well. Okay, absolutely, auction isn't for everyone. Again, if no one's got a real motivation to sell, they're dipping a toe in the water, giving it a go, or they want 40 grand over the asking price, it's important to say no sometimes. Again, it is about picking the right properties for this. And again, I'm sure you guys in the room will understand that as well. But again, for the reasons that we spoke about with lockdown, it might well be that there is maybe more people you might want to speak to over time about this process of selling your home. Okay, again, there's just some case studies there from what's sold in April of this year. And as you can see here, you know, we've got quite a good mix. Obviously, there's the property. I was going to try and pronounce the second part of that. I'm just going to say Flint. I'm assuming that's in Wales. But again, as you say, we've got an old Grade 2 listed building there. We've got a block in downtown Salford, and we've got a stunning little property there in the middle at £27,000 plus on the guide in Cumbria. Wow. Okay, so you can see that there's still a mix of properties going through the auctions at the moment. Okay, the most important part, I'm told, fees. So I'm going to stay silent now so you guys can read that on the screen. Okay, it's pretty standard stuff. I'm sure if you guys have looked at this before, but again, typically the agents who do this get a 2% commission. You can tell from my accent, I primarily have dealt with agents in the Midlands. I know the average fee around here is certainly not 2%. Again, obviously, it does depend where you are in the country as well, where this will work for you or not. I think, again, the important thing is here that payments are sent within 7 days of the offer being agreed in the room. And there's also the added bonus of a £125 Love to Shop voucher, so you can buy some summer shorts for when the lockdown has been lifted by Boris. Okay, so this is interesting about the fall through rates. Again, the graph that you can see in blue and white just at the bottom of the screen here to the left of the gentleman on the laptop is actually the SSTC fallen through and withdrawn properties from last Thursday. I was going to pull today's stats, but it being the bank holiday weekend, this was a truer look at what we're seeing on a normal day in lockdown. So as a percentage of all the properties that have had movement of either SSTC, fallen through, withdrawn, an absolutely massive 38% have withdrawn from the market with agents in England and Wales. 27.8 have fallen through. They are outrageously large figures. And again, this is why we're holding this webinar and we're introducing this to the Brief Your Market family of customers. The SSTCs there, again, 34.1%. But again, how long are those going to take to get to completion? The average time from offer to completion was probably around 16.5, 17 weeks in most areas of the country. How many of them might fall through or withdraw over this time period? STL Auctions report, their fall through rate is less than 2%. That's pretty striking, I'm sure you'll agree. Okay, so STL are holding their next auction online, of course, conducted by the fantastic Andrew Parker. It's streamed through the website, the telephone, internet and proxy bidding. But again, if you would like to contact the team with anything you want to talk to them about, their numbers on the screen there. I will send details again in the follow-up email. And if you guys have got any questions as well at the end when we do the questions, fire them over to me and I can send them to the team at SDL. And again, an absolutely huge mega thank you to Louise, to Andrew and to Chrissy for putting together those slides. Genuinely interesting stuff. Thank you. Okay, so this is a first for you guys that have been on these webinars before. I'm actually going to work you today because we've got a poll. So it's only 4 questions, but I'm going to post the first question now. So get voting. And of course, I will share with you guys what the answers are. So again, just to get a a feel of what the room is. We've got estate agents up and down the country. I'll just give it 10 seconds. So if you consider selling a property at online auction, sellers who are still keen to sell or proceed during a lockdown. And what we have there is 66% yes. A 34% said no. Okay, that's interesting. We've got the second part. Okay. So what reservations do you have about selling at auction as an estate agent? That's a multiple choice again. So vote away. I'll give it another 10 seconds there. Again, I invite you to get involved. You know, it's good to get a good gauge of the room and what's going on out there. So I can't go out at the moment. Okay, that's an interesting one. 52% of people who replied to the sellers may get a lower price. Very interesting. Okay, we've got the third one. 1, 2, 3, fire away. Get voting. So how many properties on your books today would you class as an essential sale and you've got vendors chasing you? Okay, any last minute votes? Okay, very, very interesting. We have a joint leader, which is more than one and more than two. But 4% said, I don't know if you avoided the question. So, again, that is very interesting. Okay, and the final one is basically the content on selling at online auction being helpful today. Again, it's really important for me and the team at Brief Your Market and holding these daily webinars that we're putting out content that is of interest for you guys, so you can attend again and hopefully we can help out. Okay, so only 7%, sorry, 6% of you said no. So thanks for being so kind. Thank you very much. Right, okie dokie. So again, thank you for answering that. That's much appreciated. So we're looking at examining your sales pipeline. And again, I will go back to the situation which Louise at SDL spoke to me about, and an agent she spoke with last week. And it's again about examining your sales pipeline. I mean, you guys will know it more than anybody, of course. So what I'm doing here, again, this is looking back at last Wednesday. So again, this is a day before the data I put just on the screen there. And again, look at that, an absolutely huge amount of withdrawn properties and falling through. This will be costing you guys money. So again, I guess what it is that we have to have a really, really, really close eye on this. And again, I will share with you that I'm speaking with agents up and down the country. There was one agent I spoke with who furloughed all of his negs, but kept his 2 sales chasers on. Very, very clever. His withdrawal rate is very low. Another agent who was in competition with said agent had furloughed all staff, including sales chasers, and the lettings team were only there. Now, you can only imagine what a lettings negotiator will be able to offer information-wise on a chain to avoid a fallen through property or withdrawn property. This is absolutely critical for the survival of some of your businesses. So I guess what it is, what is your approach, with your pipeline? Again, I think a proactive approach is absolutely the right way. But I think what we're going to look at is are you guys prepared? I'm sure you are, by the way. But if you're not, what can you do? I mean, how fast can you pick up and sew together chains with other agents? You know, when the lockdown is lifted, if you close down, which of course you will have because the government told you to, and you have pressed the pause button, what is your plan B for those people in your sales pipeline who probably will have to move? And again, it's really important you do consider other alternatives for your sellers. And of course, you know, we're introducing you guys to what the guys at STL Auctions and other auctioneers, of course, are doing. But I guess what it is here is that you do need to prepare now. There'll be other agents that might be 2 or 3 or 4 steps ahead when this lockdown's finished. And again, they'll be better primed to hit the market harder when it does come back. So I talked about the 3,500 calls which STL Auctions had fielded last week. We're really excited at Brief Your Market about our new partnership with the live chat pioneers Yondell. And again, I just want to introduce that to you guys again and have a look at the case study of STL Auctions and actually some of their live chats which have came in over the last week. So again, apologies for you guys if you're going to need webinars before and just looking at live chat and why agents would want to use live chat. I think the first few options are very obvious. You're short-staffed, you're furloughed staff, there might be illness, home working availability might be low. Can people log into your phone system from home, or are they just on mobile phones? It's 24/7 and it's flexible, and it's always available as the first line of response. It's great customer service because your website is the first place customers will go. Let's say if they've sent an inquiry on Rightmove or Zoopla or on the market and they've now been come back to. It's fast response. It's immediately available on the website. There's no telephone holding. A lot of the banks and building societies now will have live chat. If anybody has tried to call Santander or anyone like that about mortgage payments, good luck in getting through. It's usually about a 90-minute wait. I certainly haven't got time for that today. Great thing with live chat is that it's a really good resource filter. It handles pre-inquiries and it prioritises the required response. So what it does, it takes the initial burden off you. You don't necessarily want to be fielding loads of calls from tenants who want their light bulb changed. You'd rather be speaking with people who want to progress their sale and maybe look at other options and how you can help them. I think with live chat, quite honestly, for the brand experience, your customers will appreciate the help. So this is a mutual client of both Yondell and Brief Your Market. It's Andrews. As you can see on the right-hand side there, they've got their live chat icon there. That appears on all of their Brief Your Market emails. But how can you maximize live chat? It isn't just a little widget or button which just sits on your website. So guess what it is? It's about briefing your partner, your teams, your co-workers effectively to stay in constant contact. So if there's revised availability, let's say Rachel works in the morning but not in the afternoon and she deals with the landlords, we need to know that. Service changes and compromise, and again, obviously you're not open, so it might be that you're only taking calls between certain hours. If there's new services and innovations, of course, virtual viewings is a very, very big thing at the moment, as you guys will know. But it's good to prioritise information for high-value customers. And again, I would absolutely put people in your sales pipeline on here. So do use your direct-to-chat links everywhere. If you're on Yondell or any other live chat providers, of course, as well. Put them on your Brief Your Market emails that go out to all your database. If you use SMS marketing, use there too. And of course, use it on your social media posts too. Okay. So again, planning of process for follow-up. Again, you might have 50 live chats which have landed within a day, for example. Allocate responsibility. If Rachel looks after tenants and David looks after landlords, it might well be there. That, of course, you split that there. But again, being clear about availability and more importantly, service capability at the moment. Really, really important. Be clear about time expectation setting. I was trying to get hold of an agent last week who just had an answer phone message on saying they're not available for the foreseeable future. I'm not entirely sure their business will be available for the foreseeable future if nobody's picking up that answer phone message, by the way. Very worrying. But again, make sure your customer gets what they need. So integrate your online processes with live chat too. Enable your chat operator to offer links on your online valuations, your video viewings, your video valuation appointments, and any property maintenance apps you have, the likes of Fixflow, for example. Okay, so I'll just leave these on the screen and go on mute. So these are actually, again, a huge thanks to the guys at Yomdel and to SDL for sharing this with them. I'm just going to let you have a look at some of the real situations that come in via live chat with the guys, again, at SDL. Again, I'm sure you guys can see that is quite a cross section there. Again, obviously, the middle one there was on about video calls and virtual viewings, and the last one there on the screen was could confirm if you're looking to sell a property, please, of which that person was. I think some people think live chat's just a nice little widget button on your website there. There is absolute commercial value to some of these live chats that come in, and Yomdel can actually measure that too. I was genuinely taken aback when I looked at their system and the commercial value and how this can be measured. By the way, absolutely fantastic stuff. And again, thank you for SDL for sharing that. We've got some more as well. Again, I don't think I need to tell you guys on the webinar today how valuable some of that is to your business and how much business you could write off the back of that. You can tell these are true, by the way, they're not made up. As you can see, if somebody spotted the mistake at the bottom there, my colleges have a user ID. Okay, I'm assuming that he or she meant colleagues there, of course. And one more to go with. Again, some fantastic stuff there. And again, this is being taken with agreement and help from the guys at SCL and Yomdel. If you do have an auctions page on your website, again, you could have a live chat ticker, which would be on there, and you could be fielding inquiries as such for your business. Okay, so we're nearly at the end now. So I've run over a tiny bit. So I apologise for that, but I hope it's been helpful stuff. We're here at Brief Your Market. We're here to help and support estate agents through this time period. So please get in contact with us. Speak to the team. This is the Rogues Gallery. This is us guys that are here to help you out at the moment. Obviously, we're all working from home like you guys are, so please keep us busy. Anything you want to talk about, be it auctions, anything else, we are here to assist. Now, if you're not currently a Brief Your Market customer, because there is a mix of current Brief Your Market customers and non-Brief Your Market customers on the line, you can book a free, no obligation advice consultation Again, there's a link on there which will be on the slides I send out, which I will put on the follow-up email. But please do get in touch. We're here to share ideas. We're here to help people in the wider property industry. We're all working together, ourselves, Yondell, SDL, to make sure that we all come out of this lockdown and this current crisis in a better state. So a huge thank you to you guys. What I will do is put myself on mute now. So if you've got any questions at all, I can see a couple have came in during the presentation. Just a quick note, if you do want an answer to your question, you've posed that during the webinar, stay on the webinar, otherwise I can't answer that question. But again, a huge thank you to our partners at Yondell and at STL Auctions for the content which they provide today. Absolutely fantastic stuff, I'm sure you agree. And a huge thank to you guys for attending this afternoon. We have another webinar tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and on Thursday, sorry, I've lost my days already this week, for the next 3 days. So I will send you out the links to all the webinars for the rest of this week. Again, a huge thank you. Stay safe, have a good afternoon, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.